The return of Brisbane by way of Auckland's own. It's the bad man Justin Tafa, the former rugby star representing Australia, taking on Parker Porter, a guy who's fought John Jones in real life, not like just on UFC 4. Maybe he relives the glory days.
Parker Porter is not in UFC 4.
No, but listen, he could create a character, I guess. If you look at it for Parker Porter in the UFC, a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, he comes in, debut, it was like on 10 days' notice, they just announced it. They threw it together. Chris Dawkins is going to fight Parker Porter, and I thought, huh? Like, what are we doing here, Bapa? But if you look at it, he loses that fight, he gets finished. And his other loss is Jailton Almeida. But if you look at it through both of those guys, their top 15 ranked heavyweights at this point are Dawkins and Almeida. The wins for Porter, Josh Parisian, Chase Sherman, Alain Baudot. They're not ranked.
I would put Justin Tafa in that category of fighters, though, in the heavyweight division.
And for Tafa, UFC debut, UFC 243, which was the last card in Australia. He fights Yorgan De Castro and gets starched. Then he goes out and fights Juan Adams on a John Jones card. And in that one, he gets the win. So then he goes on, he fights Carlos Felipe, loses by split decision in an absolute all-time barn burner. Then he has a fight of the night against Jared Vandera and pretty well gets beaten all 3 rounds. And his last time out, he takes on Harry Hunsucker, and he finishes him in that one. Now, that was a little over a year ago. Tafa was booked in a couple of different fights. He withdrew from both of them in 2022 against Jake Collier and Dontel Mays, the hump in the cage champ. But in the fight against Harry Hunsucker, Matt, for Justin Tafa, he has the distinction of being the first UFC heavyweight to successfully miss weight at 267. So Justin Tafa came in a hair thick for that one. And Matt, he's taking on a fellow Biggie boy that's not Jairzinho Rosenstruck.
Justin Tafa needs what Nick Suzuki got at the All-Star break. He got a year of free Chipotle, and then
But Matt, do they have Chipotle in Montreal?
Well, that was the quote. They go, "Oh, Nick, are you happy?" And he goes, "We don't have Chipotle in Montreal." So that sucks for Nick Suzuki.
That All-Star skills thing sucked. All of it.
Sure.
For NHL.
For Justin Tafa, though, his skill set's very easy to define. Like, he is a good boxer in the heavyweight division, but I look at this fight as like a 1999 heavyweight against like a 2006 heavyweight. And that might not be a big compliment towards either one of these men, but for Justin Tafa, he really is a one-dimensional heavyweight. He is a very good striker. He is going to struggle with the grappling, especially defensively in pretty much every aspect. But with Parker Porter, he has more than just one note to his game. He is going to go out there and maybe brawl a little bit, but at least he has a little bit of the clinch work. He does have the wrestling offense. He does have some of those other parts to his game. Now, I worry that Porter's going to go out there and just use the striking against a guy like Justin Tafa, because that's probably what he's going to do. And at least early on in the matchup, I think that is an absolutely terrible idea for him. But if he can press on Justin Tafa and do what like Tyson Fury did to Deontay Wilder, wear on the smaller man and really make him feel your presence. If Porter could use a lot of his clinch work...
Don't call him Porker.
Sorry, I can't believe I said that. If Parker Porter... I mixed the two together. Can use his clinch work and his wrestling. I think he can have a lot of success in this matchup. I just worry that he's going to go out there and try to be a gunslinger early on, and we kind of know what happens when you do that in a Justin Tafa fight. If Tafa lands that one big looping hook, it doesn't really matter what position it's from. He can land, but this is what I really dislike in a Justin Tafa. Not just that he got knocked out by Yorgan De Castro. Yorgan De Castro had his eyes closed and just threw from the hip on that. Like, you can watch the highlight. Yorgan De Castro's eyes are closed when he does that. Hey. It's not great that a primary striker is getting knocked out from a technique like that. It's not like Alex Pereira was marching him down, hit him with combinations, and really made him think about it. He marched forward and ran into a kind of large looping shot, and that's not great to see from a guy who is a primary striker.
Yorgan De Castro beats Cigano, Junior Dos Santos, and he's in the running to win $1 million at the PFL. And region by region wise, I know Yorgan De Castro at Cape Verde, but if you look at it, trains out of New England, Parker Porter, New England native, and Parker Porter owns his own gym, the Heavy Hitters Club. Matt, the Heavy Hitters Club. I bet.
What does that have to do with Yorgan De Castro?
Everything you said was disrespectful, and you called him Porker.
I didn't mean to call him Porker, but that's okay. These guys are not going to be in the top 15 of the division.
Parker Porter is closer to that point at this point, even though he's coming off a loss.
That's fine. I'm closer to dunking than you are. I still can't dunk.
When you look at the matchup between these two guys, maybe I've been working on my hops.
No,
Parker Porter, out of this matchup, in the fights that he's had in the UFC and he's won, what has he done? Dabbled in the wrestling. He's been able to go out there against Josh Parisian, who can clinch and take down his opponents, and he did that to Parisian. And if you look at it in the other fights, against Chase Sherman, he was able to do it. Against Alain Baudot, struggled with the striking in the open space, and Baudot Not a good run in the UFC, but in the open space, that's where Butto flourishes. And for Porter, once he was able to kind of slow down the fight and make it a little bit boring, that's where he was able to pull away. So in this matchup, you have the more refined technique out of the striking in Justin Tafa, a guy that can strike forwards and backwards, even though I know you talked about him losing to De Castro, backing up.
He charged forward.
But if you do look at it for Tafa, he charged forward, closed eyes behind the black line. And
That's what I mean. Like, if you're a natural striker, I want to see you outstrike pretty much everybody. Like, Israel Adesanya can outstrike everybody in the UFC for the most part, other than Alex Pereira, and vice versa. Because they're natural strikers. We know where their comebacks come from and the accolades that they do have. Think about a Damian Maia. We never saw Damian Maia get, like, convincingly out-grappled. When I see you get knocked out by a guy who has his eyes closed when he's throwing the shot, and you're supposed to be a natural striker, there's a lot of cause for concern moving forward. And I think that's fair to say. It's like if we saw Jacare Souza get submitted 7 times in his UFC career. We could call into question his background.
Matt, it's a little weird that this is on the main card and they're making you pay to see a 13-7 heavyweight take on a 5-3 heavyweight. You have a look at the odds. Justin Tafa is the slight favorite in the matchup. We have a look at the topology votes. Surprised us there. To you, Australia versus USA. I'm going to say the fans have Parker Porter, though. And I'm going to say over-under. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say over-under 60% Porter.
I'll say under. I think Tafa will be the favorite.
Tafa's going to be the favorite. Tafa is the favorite. 805 total votes, 72% Tafa, 84% by knockout. For the 28% that have Porter, 79% by decision. NTG Fitness and MMA's own Justin Tafa, the bad man, the favorite in the matchup. The fans have him overwhelmingly to get the win in this fight. Matt, do you have Justin Tafa to get the win?
I have Parker Porter in this matchup. He's the more well-rounded fighter, and I think that's the big reason for why I have him. Could he get knocked out? Of course he could. Justin Tafa has really good hand speed. He has good power too, and I know he lost the Felipe fight. It was a very, very close matchup, but the way that he fought that could give him a lot of success in this matchup. Put his forehead on Parker Porter's chest and throw a lot of boxing combinations. I think he could have success if he uses that kind of a game plan, but the problem is, that's only going to help him in the striking. If Porter then starts to use his wrestling, then his own grappling, I think he can wear down some of the punching power of Justin Tafa. I would like to offer my most honest apologies to Parker Porter if he's watching this video. Did not mean to call you Porker, mix together your first and last name, but I've got you to win this matchup.
Yeah, I also have Parker Porter in the matchup as the underdog. So going against the fans and the odds, but with Parker Porter, I've seen his wrestling on the regional scene translate to the UFC to beat guys outside of the top 15. So I know he struggled against Jailton Almeida. I think with Francis Ngannou out of the UFC, I think Jailton's going to break into the top 5 in 2023. So really interesting fight between these two guys. The striking of Tafa, the striking to then clinch for the takedown out of Porter. Both of us going with Parker Porter to get the win. Let us know down below in the comments section if you agree with those topology votes. You have bad man Justin Tafa at home, or do you have Porter to travel across the world, to shock the world, to get the win? Matt, we have Randy Brown taking on Jack Della on this card. We have the co-main event featherweight title, interim featherweight title on the line, and the pound for pound greats up the top. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Name Picks, we always say.
Let's get into it.